All right, peace be upon you, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Now, in today's video, I'm just going to be reacting to and reflecting upon this video here. So, this is villagers. These are, I think, Indian, tribal people of India. Villagers react to scale of universe. Tribal people react to universes way bigger than you think. And the context of this video is that, and I think this channel in general, there's a few of these channels online where they will take relatively simple-minded people of humble means, people from the villages of Pakistan, people from the villages of India, who really only know their small locality, and they'll do ridiculous things like make them try a McDonald's Big Mac or a Coca-Cola. And in this case, in this video, they took these tribal villagers from India and they're showing them the quote unquote scale of the universe. And obviously, we know the Earth is flat and stationary, and this video is complete bollocks. It is nonsense. It's all just storytelling. Oh, the Earth is a small part of our solar system, which is in a small part of the Milky Way galaxy, which is in a small part of this, then small part of that, then a small part of the observable universe, millions and trillions and zillions and billions of light years away, everything. Look at how large, look at how small the Earth is. And the reason I wanted to go over this video is so that really, it's actually sad because these villagers, they knew more about the heavens and the earth just through their oral traditions that were passed down than after watching these videos, because this video is complete Star Trek sci-fi fantasy. And you'll see, I'll go through it with you. These guys were talking about how they only knew about the sun, moon, stars, and the earth. That's really it. They didn't know about planets and clusters and supernovas and black holes and all this stuff, which is what the video they're seeing is showing them. And really, they knew more about the world. That is our world, the sun, moon, stars, and earth. There's no such thing as supernovas. There's no such thing as black holes and this blada and that blada. And the earth is flat and stationary. We're in an endomed realm. And but I guess the reason why I bring up this video is it reminded me of a brilliant and wise quote by Brother Sam Gerrans, where he said that, and I think this is somewhat true, the way we view the world, in some ways, not in every way, because I do believe there's an objective truth. I'm not a subjective idealist, but he said that the way we view the world, it in some ways says more about us than it does the world. And you'll see these tribal villagers who believe in God, they have a remembrance of God. This seems like a very humble man. He's just kind of this Baba G. After being shown this so-called grand universe in the magnitude of millions and millions of light years, and Earth is just this minuscule, tiny little grain, this insignificant hiccup within a vast, unimaginable universe, you will see this man, he does not grow atheistic. He actually grows deeper in his remembrance of God. This man and all of them, none of them become atheistic. And this even reminds me of my own childhood. So it might be surprising for you to think this, but because I'm an author of a book that shows the earth is flat and stationary, I have labored under this subject extensively, how outer space is fake, it is nonsense. When I was a child, I wanted to be an astronaut. Probably most of you want to be an astronaut, or many of us. And even when I was a child, and I remember I would go with my mother to the library, I would tell her, let's go to the library, and I would read all these books about marine biology and a lot of books about the universe as well. Outer space, supernovas, clusters, black holes, space time, bending, all this stuff. And even when I was a child, I was never an atheist. I always believed in my Lord, and I attributed that vast, now I've come to understand, atheistic, ridiculous outer space model to my Lord. I said, oh, God created this, subhanAllah, God is the greatest, God is amazing. God made this vast, amazing universe. And really, this again goes to what I was talking about, Brother Sam's quote. The way we view the world, it in some ways says more about us than it does the world. For some people, this globe thing, and it was designed for that purpose, it becomes a means of atheism and denial and nihilism, and oh, there's no meaning, we can do what we want, we're just this speck on this dot in an infinite universe in an insignificant corner, therefore there's no God, there's no purpose, there's no nothing. And even you'll see the video that these guys watch, these tribal villagers, the the people, they translated it into Hindi for them so they can understand. It has an atheistic tone. Let me go actually to that part. Where is it? You'll see where. There we are. Okay. So you'll see in this video, the guy is going to say, oh, everything we know and all the religions, every person who was born and who died, and all the faiths, all the politicians, all the good people, all the bad people, our experience is only on this itty bitty little dust particle in the middle of nowhere. Let me pull that up, the image. What is it called? You are here, universe. So this is kind of what he's alluding at, this atheistic model. So every chapter and up and down an era within the human civilizational history, it's all just this little dot here. So you'll see in this video.
This tiny pale blue dot is Earth, and I don't think that anybody has ever said something.
And kind of, what I mean to say, this video has an atheistic undertone. He's trying to make our religions, our faiths, our scriptures, and our experience insignificant. What could we possibly know about the world around us, and including our religions, our faiths, our scriptures, when our experience is only concerning this small speck of dot in an infinite, vast universe? We don't know anything about anything. Essentially, it's atheistic nihilism is what this guy is promoting in the video.
About this as Carl Sagan when he said, if you look at it, you see a dot.
So you see they're
that's here.
By what they're
that's home.
Witnessing.
That's us. On it, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever lived out their lives. The aggregate of all our joys and sufferings. Thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines. Every hunter and every forager. Every hero and coward. Every creator and destroyer of civilizations. Every king and every peasant, every young couple in love, every hopeful child, every mother and every father, every inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a...
So you can see this video, obviously, by Life Lore, which is, again, translated into Hindi for them. Obviously, there's an agenda behind it. They're trying to promote more nihilism and atheism. Yet, again, you will see these people, they don't fall for it. They take this, what they think is a vast universe of stars and planets and galaxies, and they attribute it towards God in the end. And this reminded me of, again, that quote of Sam Garron's, the way we see the world in some ways says more about us than the world. I was never an atheist, even when I believed in space travel and wanted to be an astronaut and I was reading these books on outer space. I always knew there is a greater power out there, a God, the God, who created me for a purpose. I will be held accountable for the way I lived my life. And I always knew since I was a child, even before I really came across the Quran and started studying it and embodying it in my life, when I was just taught this kind of Sunni-esque religion when I was a kid and I was just searching for answers, I didn't know what the truth was, I always thought to myself, I know there's a God out there, and I want to find the best way to worship him and serve him. And all it is, it's not a matter of if there's a God out there, it's a matter of what is the way he wants me to serve him. And then, praise the Lord, I found the Quran and dove into the Quran alone, and God fulfilled and gave me the answers that I was seeking for. And that all that globe stuff, it never made me an atheist or nihilist, because I'm a man who wants to serve the Creator. I have no problem, and actually a great pleasure. It's a great pleasure for me to lower myself before the power who is greater than me. I love the fact that life has assignments, there's a purpose, there's a law, there's boundaries that I need to adhere myself to. Other people in this world, they don't like that idea. They are averse to it, the idea of there's a power greater than myself out there. There's a law that I have to follow. I'm going to be held accountable. You mean I can't sneak around and be a devious little serpent? I'm going to be held accountable for the way I live my life. There's going to be this judgment day. I'm going to have to answer to a being greater than myself. Other people, they just hate that concept. And whether they believe in flat earth or globe earth in some ways to a certain extent. And again, I believe these subjects are important. That's why I spent the most amount of time in any project that I have dedicated myself to was dedicated to the flat earth, this over 1,200 page book showing why the earth is flat and stationary. But I see even beyond that now, it doesn't really matter that much. People's faith is dictated by how they are on the inside. What they believe says more about them. Me wanting to serve my creator, me wanting to submit myself to laws, me wanting to follow what is right and good and not my own vain desires, it says something about me and my character, and probably a lot of you guys as well who watch these videos. And conversely, those who are obstinate, they just say, I want to do whatever I want in life, and this life is short, and I'm going to live it up and enjoy every finery I can possibly have and not answer to anybody. This life's about doing what makes you happy, bro. Just doing what makes you feel enjoy. And in the end, they never feel happy and enjoy themselves. They're always left broken and empty when they reject God and go for this kind of subjective truth, subjective morality, chase whatever you like. They always feel broken in the end. But those people who go down that road, again, it says a lot about them. They're not interested in finding the objective truth or a divine law to submit themselves to, because they are selfish and proud. And again, it goes back to the quote. It says more about you than it does about the world in some ways. Look at their reaction after seeing this video, which again clearly has an atheistic agenda. See how these people respond, whether they become nihilist atheists or whether it strengthens their faith in God. Let's go to that point right here.
क्या बात है, क्या बात है, क्या
It's such a shame they had their minds scrambled with all of this sci-fi, Star Trek, so-called science. They knew more about the world before watching this video. They've now been confused a little bit. But even still, it won't affect their faith.
दुनिया के बाद गिरे चांद सूरज सितारे आंखों से देखने के बाद वो पीछे करते 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 कहाँ लेके चले गया. मतलब मेरा तो दिमाग खराब हो गया. मैं उस ख्याल में खो गया कि रेत के जो जर्रे हैं, बारीक बारीक दाने, आप
See all the storytelling in the video. There's more stars and planets in the universe and particles of sand. How do they even know that? How did somebody go out, just as a little rant on the side, did somebody go out there and count every single particle of sand in the world and then count every single star and so-called planet in the world, if we even believe in those concepts? I believe in the stars, but not in the way that they explain. And then from there determined, okay, there are more stars than planets. It's storytelling. This is a religion.
बता रहे हैं कि जो दुनिया में
See, does it affect their faith?
उससे ज़्यादा ब्रह्मांड में अलग अलग ग्रह हैं, सितारे हैं, तो सर वो तो अनंत हो गया मामला. उसका कोई पार ही नहीं है सर.
ऊपर वाले की कुदरत देख के तो मेरे बोलती बंद हो गई. ये ऐसा ज्ञान है कि मेरे मुंह से शब्द नहीं निकल रहा. बोलूं तो बोलूं क्या आखिर में.
मैं कुछ बोल ही नहीं सकता. I can't even say anything.
ये जैसे आज जो देखा है, सब देख के दिमाग खराब हो गया. मैं तो समझता कि भारत बहुत बड़ा है और फिर भारत से ही दुनिया बहुत बड़ी है, लेकिन सब ये सब कुछ ये देखा देखने पता लगा कि क्या ये तो खाली जैसा टिपका है.
सर इस वीडियो ने तो आप मुझको झंझोड़ दिया. आज रात को नींद नहीं आने वाली है. मैं शायद इसी बारे में सोचता रहूँ और जब जब आसमान को देखूंगा तो यही दिमाग में आता रहेगा कि यार वहाँ मतलब बस आर पारी मामला हो, तो दिमाग से परे है चीज़.
सर जैसा कि मैंने आपको बताया कि दुनिया बहुत बड़ी है, पर यहाँ तो ऐसा देखा मैं कि दिमाग के जाले साफ होगा मेरे, कि दुनिया तो चने के दाने के बराबर लग रही है मेरे को आज.
भगवान और मालिक पे भरोसा तो है.
I trust God, but after seeing this,
लेकिन आज ये चीज देखी तो और ज़्यादा भरोसा हो गया कि इतनी बड़ी चीज और इतना बड़ा ब्रह्मांड अगर कोई तो किसी ने तो बनाया.
So this, despite again a video with an atheist nihilist agenda, you see this man has grown stronger in his faith, and this can be a testament to, I would say, that they probably grew up in a far more sane and rational, logical, natural society of families, of men being men, women being women, people remembering God. Now, maybe there's idolatry in the society. Okay, let's put that to a side, but they're not fully atheistic. They have some remembrance of God. They remember this creator who is greater than them. And you see, seeing this globe Earth, heliocentric cosmology, it makes him stronger in the faith. So we can tell just by even seeing the way this man speaks, looking at his eyes, there's a humility there, there's a softness, he's a gentleman, and it's the opposite of the atheistic characters that we see. So let's even go to them. Arn Ra. My point is, and you can even see, look at this, right? The difference in the eyes. There's no light here. It's just pure darkness and misery. This is an abject man. And then you go to him, you see there's a light in his eyes. There's a humility. Despite being simple from humble means, I would say he's a much smarter and more knowledgeable than this guy. This guy doesn't know anything. He's probably read way more books, stuffed his mind with way more vain knowledge, but he doesn't know half as much as this guy. This guy is more knowledgeable. Let's look at the difference between their eyes. Let's get another one, right? All these people believe in God. A humble heart, humble eyes. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul. Let's go to, who's another one of these atheist cockroaches? Vegan Gains. Yeah, let's go to Vegan Gains. Fine. Look at the eyes. Look at the difference. Despite having read so many more books and so-called scientific studies, this guy, and having bigger muscles and all this stuff, all this technology around him, he doesn't know half as much as this man right here, because this man believes in his creator. He believes in his Lord, and he knows he's returning back. Let's get another one. Matt Dillahunt. They all look the same, man, because they all have the same spirit. They are of their father, the devil, to quote the Bible. Yeah, look at this guy. An atheist apologist, you can see the darkness within him. And what I want to say is, again, that even if all of these men, Matt Dillahunty, Vegan Gains, Arn Ra, let's say they lived in a time where flat Earth, flat, stationary, created Earth was de rigueur. Let's say they grew up where these men grew up, in a more natural, normal, holistic, and organic society. That still wouldn't change anything. They would find some way to be atheists and wretches and to grift off of humanity, because this is fundamentally coming from their spirit, not necessarily the world around them. They incline towards this. They have a hard time submitting to a power greater than themselves. It's not, even though it is an important subject and I dive into it, it's not really about flat versus globe. It comes down to the spirit of the person. These people were introduced to the globe, and it didn't shake their faith one bit. Actually, the old man, this guy right here, it strengthened their faith. These people, if they were introduced to a flat earth model as a child and they never had any knowledge of the globe, it wouldn't make any difference. They would still hate God. They would still hate the idea of judgment and accountability, because they want to live in a perfidious manner. And I just thought this video had some very important insights. And I guess we can conclude this by saying that the way we view the world, you and I, we know God exists. We know deep down, just within our soul, that we are going to be called to account for how we lived our lives. There are many people in this world, most people, they don't actually have that feeling within them. They don't believe they're going to be held accountable. They don't have that kind of pull and draw towards a responsibility for how they lived here. And it just is a testament to the verse in the Quran where God says, God guides whom he wills. Quran verse. In the name of God, the Almighty and the Merciful. So whoever God wants to guide, he expands his breast to submission. And whoever he wants to send astray, let's just read that with this. Whoever God wants to guide, he expands his breast to submission. And whoever he wants to send astray, he makes his breast tight and constricted as though he were climbing into the sky. Thus does God place defilement upon those who do not believe. God even says in their hearts is disease, so God increases them in disease. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's really all I got to say on the matter. I hope this talk was a blessing. And yeah, peace to you. Remember, deceit abounds, so keep your eyes wide open. Peace out.